We're going to start off by creating a new file in Flash using ActionScript 2.0. We'll get the stage, and you can choose however you want your program set up, where you want things to be. I'm moving my timeline to the bottom. Also, something I hadn't already done, I kind of prefer having my toolbar on the left because that's what I'm used to having for Flash as well. So I'm going to start off by importing a photo. You'll be able to find this in Poland Pickup. I'm going to go ahead and import to Stage. I already got it from Poland and it's in my Flash folder. You don't have to have it in your Flash folder. It's called SFMS Color. Now, our stage size is 550 by 400. So I'm going to go ahead and lock this. I'm going to make the width of this 550. Now, it is a little bit smaller than the stage, so I'm going to go ahead and make it bigger. So I'm going to make the height of it 400, and then I'll be able to, actually what I'll do is I'll align it vertical and center. Oh, actually maybe I will make it, there we go, vertical and center. Okay, or vertical and horizontal center. There we go. So this is going to be the layer that I work with at the bottom, and I'm just going to call this school. And my frame rate is 24 frames per second. You can change it down there or here in your properties. You need to change it to be the same. I want this to last, let's say 4 seconds. That's going to put us at 96. So I'm going to go ahead and just F5 so I have frames that last through 96. Okay, through frame 96. What I want to do is I want to create a new layer. I need to move this real quick because it's kind of in my way. Hang on one second. There we go. I'm going to make a new layer, and this layer is going to be my mask. So here in frame 1, what I'm actually going to do, in the last challenge you did, we made a mask, but our mask stayed still. It's also possible to animate your mask, and you can do that with shape tweens as well as motion tweens. So I'm going to start off with an oval, and my oval, it doesn't matter what color the stroke or fill is. However, I am going to make it object drawing mode so that my fill and my stroke don't separate from each other. And I'm going to draw a circle, and I know it's going to be a circle because I'm holding my shift key down. Okay, and I want that to be, as you could see, basically the center of this circle is over the S in spring. Okay, and this is going to be where our mask is. Remember that what we see, or sorry, what we use the mask on is what we will see. Okay, so I am going to put a, well, actually I've got to make this a symbol first. Modify, convert to symbol, and I'm just going to call this circle. Then I'm going to put a motion tween on it. And at this point, what I want to do is I want to use my playhead. I'm going to move about halfway. So half of 96 is about 48 right there. I think that's 48 right there. And I am going to move the circle all the way over to the L. Now, as you can see, Springforest Middle School doesn't go straight across. So I'm also going to have to move it up just a little bit. And I can test that out. So let me get it back to the beginning. Okay, and I like the placement of it. But now I've got 48 more frames to play with. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to, let's say right here, it looks like it's about halfway there at 72, 73. And I'm going to move it back to the beginning. Okay, and again, we're going to have to move it, whoops, down a little bit. And then at the end, I'm going to move it back to the end one more time. Now, this particular keyframe, all we've done to these so far is move them. Okay, so the first part goes slow, and then it's fast and fast getting back to the end. Okay, and at this point, what we want it to do is we actually want it to grow to show the whole image. So this keyframe only has position. We also want it to have scale. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put scale on there. You don't see anything different, but I'm putting scale on there. I am going to, I think I'm going to F5 all the way out here at 150. Notice I was able to click and drag to select both keyframes so I can do both layers at the same time. All right, now in 96, I'm going to insert a keyframe again, and I'm just going to say all. It's easier than doing position and scale. I'm going to say all. And then here at the end is where I will use my transform tool, and I am going to hold my shift key down, and while I hold my shift key down, I'm also going to be moving this more or less to the center, and I might need to zoom out a little bit so that I can see all of the image, because we want the circle to wind up covering the entire thing, and I think at this point it has. So when I play this again, slow, fast back to the beginning, fast to the end, and then it's growing until it covers the whole thing. So that looked pretty good. So at this point, I'm going to control click and I'm going to choose to mask. Okay. And here it goes. And all you can see is where the circle was. Now, that's kind of boring, seeing how it's a white background there, right? Okay. So what we'll do then is click here, and we're going to change the stage to Bobcat Blue. You could do many other things. We could make a new layer and put a rectangle that has a gradient. And that might actually look better than just the solid blue. There we go. So we have now a simple animation where instead of our object animating, it's actually our mask animating. So what I'd like you to do is File, Save As. Remember, you're going to save this in your Flash folder. Yours is in Schools. Mine is on my desktop. We're going to name this your period number, your last name, and we're going to call this, whoops, SFMS, and we're going to call this flashlight mask. Actually, not SFMS, we're just going to call this flashlight mask. And the reason we're calling it flashlight is because that's what that little circle kind of appears to be, as a flashlight going. Then remember, once you save it, in order to get your most updated Swift file, you have to do a command return, and that's the one that you put on your Google site. And it should continuously play over and over. And one thing I want to point out, remember how our image was a little bit wider than the stage? Well, whenever you publish a Swift file, all that you see is the size of the stage. So that's what this is.